Hi, people! Welcome to 2021! What's up? Hey, are we live? I'm live. I think I'm live. My problem is I always set this up so I can't hear myself. Maybe that's not a problem. Maybe I don't want to hear myself. Maybe I suck. I don't know. How y'all doing this fine 2021? Or, as I like to tell everybody, this not 2020. Yeah. Can't get any worse, right? Wait. Did y'all hear the news? Anyway, we're not going to get into that. I am so not going to get into that. I made a promise. I'm not getting into that. So we ain't getting into that. But other than that, how's it going? Y'all been building? Hope y'all been building. We're approaching the century mark if you've been keeping up with your winter days. And 98 planes, that's pretty good. That's no slouch. Get some good planeage going on at that point. So, oh, by the way, I needed to check on the music. I meant to check on the music. That was pretty dumb. I wanted to see if the lead-in music was too quiet or too loud. But that's neither here nor there. I've been working. Yeah, I don't know what he said. I put up one video because after going through the videos, I realized that, like, okay, there's a few of them. A few of the clips kind of sucked. So I'm like looking at it thinking like, you know, slug. I'm looking at thinking maybe I got more videos than I thought I did online before, but I still have some I need to put in there, but I'm going to have to like edit those. Yeah, I probably won't have to edit too many of those. Anyway, you make your presence known by doing that every time. Yeah, 100 planes almost. That's pretty substantial. Hope you guys are on that. I about weeded out a whole bunch of my old ones because I was very seriously considering like anything uncoded as far as I was going with like fin codes and stuff. Hey, have y'all been working on your fin codes? Oh yeah, and get the roundels. Get the roundels. Get the roundels. You will buy the roundels. Anyway, yeah, I was thinking like it would be just a much better idea to go through them and disperse the ones that are coded wrong, and then like won't fill the roles and so on and so forth. Which would do me a lot of planes. I'd get rid of some, and I do need to get rid of some. But I'm working on this. So, why does it look like? Did I blow you out of the water? No. Oh, now I do. There. Zang. Okay. Want to make sure that was not coming out too bad. So, what are we doing? Well, I was thinking of something new for this year. We like when we did the shows previously, we always like started talking about getting into the roles and everything, and it could get to be a boring topic and everything, I'm sure, but I'm going to bullet point this because I want to do this once a week and target the 4 major roles that we have, because I want to do a penultimate show on it having to do with whether or not we need something. So I don't know if that's going to be the last show actually, so the ultimate one, but yeah, well, none of us have probably done too much in the past few weeks. So I got to give that up. This, dude, this is not the time when I expect everybody to be on point about their building and stuff like that. But as I said before, it's like, I mean, it doesn't take too much time out of it unless you're crafting like one of the Supreme Planes aircraft out there. It doesn't take much time out your day to, just build something. And besides, like we were saying, build a body. Just build a body capable of putting on your coding for the date code so that you can say like, yes, I did in fact build the plane today, because that's all you need. So my sheet, probably be building a plane today. Yeah, I'll be building a plane today. Papers from 2014, so I know it's already going to be old. Hey, this is a good question for you guys. Do you consider the paper that you use before it gets turned into the aircraft has aged already? I thought that was kind of serious because, like I just said, like, I mean, okay, better than 90% of the time, you're probably not going to be able to tell how old your aircraft was. by the sheet alone, or how old the paper was. But every now and then you can get lucky and get a sheet that actually has a date on it. So then when you actually do get a chance to build, do you say that like, oh hey, this plane is this old? I mean, we know obviously the day it gets built, it's that old. And I know that's like, I'm not instigating anything by, I'm not trying to say like you should be keeping track of the date of your paper, but no, we're not doing that. Seriously, I don't want to do that. But I was just thinking like, I mean, if a piece of paper that you're using has been exposed to the elements for like 6 years before you actually build it, it's already got 6 years of age into it before you even turned it into the plane that you're going to turn it into. So stop it. So do you? Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Do you? I don't think it should be anything. I mean, basically because you're not putting anything on the stress of a fold and the stress of flight onto it. So, like everything, once it'd be like saying in real airplane construction that, the wing spar has a date, therefore it's that old. And I mean, in ways, of course, Air Forces keep track of that. But again, without the stresses of flying, once it's built, it's just a brand new piece of metal. So, it really doesn't matter. Therefore, the paper shouldn't matter. I don't think so. Anyway, but I mean, no, I would partially date I'd put build dates on partially built planes is like key. That's why we got what we've been calling pry fly. I mean, it's a lot easier to store. I mean, once you build, especially yours, missed a 1 inch everything. That takes up a lot of space. I mean, I'm teasing you a little bit, but seriously, if you were to even hang up like I do, with a 1.5 inch fuselage and winglets, that's a lot of space you move. Instead of like me trying to get in mine where they're only about this tall, yours are like this tall. So I mean, whereas yours takes up 2.5 of my planes is one of yours. Think about it. If you had 100 like I do hanging up, man, I'd have to have 2 lines. I'd have to double the lines I've got. So, no, pry fly comes in really handy. I mean, yeah, I consider that. I mean, okay, I've told Mark about this, and I do it 2 ways. I normally build, and I'll put the build date on it. I will date it right away because, I mean, once you've built it into a plane mode, even before you build with wings on it, so they're partially built, those should get, that counts. I think that counts. So you put the date on it, and there's your plane. You know what I mean? That's it. So I usually put the extra date on it after I build it into a flying model because I don't think there's a real need for it. But me personally, I like putting it on there because it lets me know how old it actually has been flying the skies. I mean, I do, seriously. I used to go all out, and when I had them, and I used to actually write, like, almost all of my test planes for tradition. If it's the first number of any plane I've built, be it Javelin, right on up to Demont, the latest, they've all got a stick tally on the fuselage of how many flights they've made. Every time I make a flight, I stick tally it. Because I want to know how many flights they've made. I so got into it for a point where I was thinking about doing that with every plane. But that's just beyond crazy. Although, I mean, when you do think about it, especially if you do have a bunch of flying aircraft, you may lose track without a flight log, which is another reason I say keep a flight log. Be it on our calendars or be it on paper, or both would probably be better, but something that you keep a flight log so that you know, and again, why you need to code them so you have numbers on them so you know that, like, hey, number 38 here flew this day, and it flew pretty good, especially its third flight. So you already know that you're like, well, I flew it 3 times that day. But what, you hang it up and you lose track of it, and what if like 2 years down the road you're like, oh crap, that's the only date I ever flew that plane. I mean, if you got a lot of planes, this can happen. I'm pretty sure I've got a couple on this line that have been hanging on this line for 2 or 3 or 4 years and probably have never flown, even though they're that old. And yet there's some of those that have been up there that have flown over 100 times. So it's all, I mean, especially because of the kind of flying they do. If they're pretty, I'll probably fly them more than the ones that suck. But then again, if they really suck, I'll just burn them to the ground. So, it goes with the territory. But that's why I keep track of the dates, and I didn't really realize I was going to get on a date topic. But again, date coding is crucial. So is, like your production number coding, I think. Base coding, our fin codes, that's just for fun. But I get a lot of fun out of it. anytime you read any, such as this, anytime you read any kind of like magazine of any kind, you're pertaining to any aircraft anywhere, and like you see the fin codes, or at least I do, and I'm like, that's what drives me to do it, because I go crazy every time I see them. I'm like, I gotta get that on the birds. I want to see that on the birds, So, hey, Robert, how you doing, man? I knew you'd pop in. See, we got OAE back. OAE, we were kind of missing you over there. I was worried about it, but I mean, it's the holidays, so I understand it's probably gonna be slow around here. Hope y'all had a good New Year. I'm not gonna apologize for being late. I was watching. Well, no, I'm not gonna say anything about that. My pizza took a little while longer to get here, and I wanted to partake before I came down, so I'm all pizzaed up. And yeah, of course, it was a little later than I like to eat, but oh well, I'll be up to 1. Anyway, so I'm gonna. No, I mean, dude, I haven't made much of anything except my one-a-days because of the holidays. I was pretty sure it was gonna be slow. I was going to try to dabble with it on Monday, but this week, I guess because of... I hate to say it because I didn't really think it would turn into this way. My job has never been a way of we play catch-up due to the holidays, but damn it, this week is turning out to be one day after another of playing catch-up. So I've gotten off late every day. It's like, yeah, I'm really praying it slows down because this is really beginning to irk me a little bit. But hey, it's neither here nor there. It's the job. It's the job. The job. It's the job. So anyway, no, I'll come back. I'll come back full force. We'll probably try to do something over the weekend here and get something done. There is 6 inches of snow on the ground. The trees are treesicles because we've got frozen frost going on. It's very pretty out there, but man, if I want to fly something, it's probably going to die because it's been foggy too, dude. Seriously. Like, it's like trying to... It heard I was going to fly, and it's like, oh, you want that? So we're going to... I mean, like, no joke. It's been a week since I've seen the sun. And it's been 3 days of constant fog cover. No joke. It's, like, cool, and yet... flight sorties are taking a hit. I mean, it's usually pretty tight in the January flying schedule. We had a nickname for that Pharaoh came up with, of Deck Tight, Jan Tight, and Feb Tight, because... Hey, tighter flying schedules during the 3 months when it's super cold, and up here it makes it even worse, but, yeah, so there's that. But my folding hasn't been hurting, except it has because, again, like, just been busy, just been family, so it's not been, I mean, I took to building a plane, like, before I went off to Christmas, because literally I spent all that Christmas Day. Yeah, Christmas Day at the house, so I got that one done. I was like, wait, I gotta get this built because I know we're leaving. And then the other one, New Year's wasn't as bad, but I didn't get a chance to blow anything up because I'm in my new town. And dude, okay, I didn't think that like my close to $1,000 worth of pyrotechnics was gonna get me in trouble here, but I was ready, and I went out because I wanted to test it first. I was gonna launch some. I was gonna boom it up, and I went outside. I heard nothing at midnight. Seriously, gave the sweetie a kiss, went out to dough, nothing. It was quiet. This town, man, damn. I didn't realize I was gonna be the one, and well, shit. I don't know if I can do that. I hear other things, but this town is so quiet. So what I should have done is taken him out of town, but that's not the whole point. I got a yard, I'm pretty sure people probably would have been cool. But I ain't been there yet. Let it wear a year on, I still got them. I'll use them. A little disappointing. I'll probably blow something up later, though, because I can't go too long. The itch in me is, like, driving me. So, on the rocket topic, I still want to launch some because I really want to launch those. So, and will a plane be attached to it? Yeah, probably. I'd just take some M60s out and blow them up. I did hear... like some minor fighter cracker going off in the extreme distance. I just didn't see or hear anything, which is unusual for the last 10 years in town. So, not that I've been in this town, but... So, yeah, our peaceful little town is apparently a peaceful little town. Oh, though we did make a joke about the fact that, like, seriously, 3 months after we moved in here, there was a triple murder-suicide that happened. Okay, wait. Let me scratch that. It was a triple attempted murder and then a suicide. It became Murderville for like seriously. Like, dude, we moved here in not even 3 months later. Some dude goes to the senior citizens home, pops 3 caps at 3 different people, and then shoots himself. What the hell kind of town are we moving into? I was like, dude, for real. I mean, this was serious business. Not only did like the entire state of Wisconsin send out their investigative services, in 3 counties over sent out all their cop squads. The road was closed. 2 different helicopters landed in the middle of our street to ferry out the victims. I mean, like, dude, this was some serious business. Especially considering only the suicide guy died. The one who did the shooting committed suicide and is the only one that died. I don't know. But anyway, just like, yeah, peaceful little town, huh? 3 months in, boom. Like, okay, how does this make this any different from downtown New York? Town of 3,000 is no better than town of 3 million. Go. Anyway. So this town is peaceful. Right now it's got a batting rate of 500, batting average of 500 though, because we've been here 6 months. In 3 months we've had, actually it's probably less than, probably like a 118, because that was like 4 shootings in essence. So, you take the better with the batter. So anyway, day 98, got you 98 planes. 2 days from now, you're going to have 100. That big old century mark is a good mark to be at. Yeah, in Florida. What is going on? That fucked up state, man. Dude. I mean, we're only trying to, produce a show here for you of quality. And people, man. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Not a peep. Not a freaking peep. I swear to God. Should just say, like, look, I'm doing this. I mean, it's some people that need to be entertained. It's not even entertained. It's like there's some good topics. And I don't know. Okay, whatever. So Florida lockdown, week 7. Going on 2 months. 2 freaking months, people. And I know you guys, if you've been with us all this time, you've been used to it because, man, we took these weird-ass hiatuses back in the day that we never should have. I kind of want to forgive the public for that because we could have been a long way into this. And every time I think about it, it really just, like, we could have been doing this all this time. We could have found this stuff out that we were doing for you all this long ago. And could have, quality show, could have been higher quality at this point because we've been doing it for so long. Like a dumbass, we weren't doing it. And I have no excuse. And it really sucks because time marches on. But we're striving to become better people. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, that's usually what the show is for. You ain't got to say. I mean, I expected it to be kind of dry at this time because, I mean, family, man. You got things to do during the holidays. It doesn't really, conducive to what we do together. And I use the term together loosely, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, no, it's all good. If you want to just like, build on today's show while we're doing it, like hopefully we get together, we get a little something going because I'm going to. That's why I've got this. I suppose I should stop jabbering and actually get into it, but I haven't decided actually what I want to build yet. Actually, okay, I take that back. I've got like 3 ideas because I reached into my locker today and I pulled out a plane that something I started but I hadn't formed yet. And I'm pretty sure that I developed this bird, but I didn't know what it was I wanted to do with it, and I might be doing it with this thing, but I like the fact that the other side of this thing is gray. It's harder to tell. You can see it like that, though. This is a really light shade of gray because the paper that it came off of was pink. Okay, you know what this is. Yeah, so it turned out as a light gray. What might be construed of as a air superiority gray. Yeah, I don't know about all that now, but so I was thinking about building something. You could build along if you guys got a regular sheet, because this will be the first time I've done this. If I do this, it'll be like the first time I complete this, because I have the body of this plane at work in a locker and I never finished it. So it is an 8.5 by 11, of course. I haven't gone out there to get that freaking A4 paper that I'm keep talking about I need to go get too. See, again, I really want to revisit that because if they're building all the things like during the war, when I was a kid, in Germany, was in Germany, of course, the A4 paper was common. You know, A3 paper? Why am I forgetting the number? You know the thing. The sheet of paper the world uses in America sucks. Yeah, so, I want to get some of that because, well, I want to get some of that. I don't understand why it's so freaking hard to find it to buy. Like, don't you think Office Depot and Staples should just have at least a row? Like, okay, just one little section of like, hey, here's some A4 paper. But there's like none. None. And I get it. It's really kind of a, you know, it's an exclusive, especially here. But come on, man, you're an office store. Just one? Is that too much to ask? And like, okay, if it's everywhere all over the world, but here, why can't I go online and just find like I'd like a ream of it or even a pad? How about a pad? Because I'd like to keep it cheap because I'm literally buying these just to build planes. So I don't really want to like get a whole ream because I'm not going to put in my printer. I'm just going to build and like I'm not one of those. I'm not really going to go out there. I like to recycle. I like I like to keep this hobby cheap. So, plus the fact that if I lose these planes, I really want to keep them cheap. So, I mean, I'm like the Pelican paper. I mean, a great idea, the waterproofing. Oh, yeah, I like that. Tapering is great. But, again, like, dude, I got to buy tape. And that's why, even like Robert, when we were talking about it before, like, I've got tape. I've got, like, rolls of tape. And they were free because I got them because we were going to throw them out at work. But they're clear tape, so they'd still look like nothing like yours. And you pay for yours. That's cool. That's good. I'm actually glad you do that. Can I do that? I'd rather not right now. But, I mean, hey, yours look really cool. So, I mean, I've thought about it. Maybe I will. I don't know. Anyway. So, in essence, it's, like, really hard for me to decide, like, I need to go out there and buy some A4 paper so I can build planes out of it. That means I got to use it. And I don't use paper for much unless I'm printing. And I even don't print much. So unless I take it to work, print a whole bunch of shit on it, and then bring it home, I'm never going to use it. And by God, we use a shit ton of paper at work. It's embarrassing. So anyway, I just did a 90. FKA, if you're there, dude, we just did a 95-page order for one freaking customer, and it was a second print. Oh my God, dude! I could literally see the trees crying. You know. I mourn for what's to become of these people. We're in the day and age of tablets. Everybody's got a smartphone. A lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, but a bunch of us have tablets. Some of us have more than one tablet and like to do more shit than that with like paper, and like we still use paper. Like, why? I guess we couldn't have a smart plane. It's not like I fold my freaking phone into a plane and fly it. It's going to have to be paper, so I guess if paper airplanes go paperless. No, I get it, but, dude, it's so embarrassing. I don't need the paper from work. I've got like 3, you know the boxes that your printer paper comes in? I have 3 boxes filled with paper to use for planes. And that was after weeding them out during the move here. I am never going to run out of paper. I've got all kinds. I've got file folders in there of 3 different grades, 3 different, like, bonds. I've got different bonds of printer paper. There's notebook sheets of various sizes, with and without the ridges and edges, with and without the holes. So they came from pads and 3-ring binder pages. Loose leaf. I've got foil paper. I've got carbon paper. I've got plastic. I've got the weatherproofing paper in there. I've got, you know, the paper that sticks. You get stickers on it. You peel off. I got the sticker paper with the sticker and without the sticker, so I can try the backing. I've got construction paper. I've got poster board of various bonds. I mean, this is all accumulative, too. I've got Dodge paper of various bonds. I've got dot matrix printer paper. You know, the stuff with the things you have to pull up the side. Yeah, I got that. I don't know what size they are. They're huge, too. They're like 12 by 15 or something. I got some legal paper of various sizes. I got paper. I don't need paper. But this is what I'm saying is, like, I can keep it cheap if I don't go get more paper. I look like a fool going to buy paper when I've got these boxes full of paper. So I've got paper, and paper's no longer a word. Yes, I did see that. And see what I'm saying? It's shit like that that makes me think that, like, I need more. Because I really do. Dude, what we were talking about, especially when Y13 was on, we were talking about, like, if we can get lights and actuators small enough and on these birds. Glow in the dark, I used to have... you try to look up glow in the dark stickers online and you come up with some weird kitty shit, like in the shape of stars and planets. That's all well and good, but I don't want a stupid Saturn on my plane when it's flying. It could look cool. But I had, when I was a kid, what I did was I talked my friend into mine. I talked a friend of mine into stealing his stickers that he had that glowed in the dark. That worked, seriously, they worked really good. And literally all it was like a strip. They were like maybe a centimeter wide and cut to length. They were various lengths, but none of them were longer than an inch. So they were really small. Really small. And I think I thought about putting them on planes at the time. And of course, obviously it would have worked great because it would have been like formation lighting strips on real planes. I never did that. But what I did do was I did on my bookshelves line them up, you know, like runway lines, and then park all of my little die-cast metal planes on them. Yeah, I would do that again if I could find them. My point being, though, is where do you find that? You can find a whole freaking sheet. You can find patterns galore, but you just can't find a straight up, like, this whole sheet glows, and it's sticky, so you can cut any shape you want out of it, including, like, you know, just a millimeter string and then cut it into dots, so you can make lines and patterns of your own. Where the hell do you find that? And go ahead and post me the link, because actually I'm sure one of you fuckers knows where it's at, and I don't, because I'm an idiot. I mean, let me Google that for you. That's probably the epitome. You probably just like, man, you ain't search, and I probably haven't. I did a search before. I was pissed off. I stopped. So that's the story. Whenever I say stuff like this, that's what happened. I tried looking for it. I couldn't find it. You're better than me. Find it for me, okay? Because it was so freaking aggravating. You figure all this stuff. You ever watch a movie? You ever watch a movie and watch these guys look on the internet and instantly find what they want to find? Like you ever watch The Ring? And that chick goes on there and she starts typing about, like, the horses of the place that fell into the well and died and shit, whatever. She just instantly finds that. Dude, if I were to go search for this exact same thing, I couldn't find that shit. I can't find, like, state plot lines from 1863 when like, war was going on, or, like, where were the Negroes kept, and where were the slave owners who should be lynched themselves because they were owning slaves, and that's wrong, but where were these people kept? This is what I'm saying. You can't find any of that on the internet. It's just messed up. Just messed up. So please, post me the links to show me, like, where I can find all this beautiful stuff that I keep missing, like glow-in-the-dark stickers that are just like little bitty dotted lines. I need that. Bad. Yeah. Anyway, alright, yeah. You just designed one for export? That's all you had? Well, gee. Yeah, you could have done a little bit better than that, but okay. All right, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, so that's bad. I'm writing that down for future reference. Okay, so yeah, I'd like a sticker. I'd like a, you know, just I can't internet search for crap. I don't know how. Dude, I had to have my girl search for. You ever look at these pictures online and see these people, like this couple, and they're advertising like a drink, and they have this really cool lamp that sits on the ground, looks like an illuminated blob. Where the hell do you get an illuminated blob? Where's that come from? I never seen it. So she found me an illuminated blob. So we're gonna order a couple illuminated blobs because I'd like to have an illuminated blob in my room. I'd like to have an illuminated blob in this other room. I mean, like, okay, my two favorite lamps are like sconces and illuminated blobs. I love illuminated blobs. I need more illuminated blobs in my life. Try to make that not a word either. Oh, come on, dude. You cannot, dude, I don't believe that for an instant. You're just not trying. Because, seriously, the king of Vulcan is like, don't even, come on, man. I know that life is different at the turn of the year, but it's a new year, the year of change. Things always happen. The idea is there may be a drought, but you'll step out. I mean, things come. And that's why we do the show, because, like, Maybe I can give you an idea. Maybe you can give me an idea. But that's the whole thing. Don't let it get to you, man. You gotta make your own excitement in this life. I'm sure that's what they said in the Hill about 12 hours ago. Anyway, I remember to bring water down today. Yeah, I'm not as low-toned as last time. I know, see? Pretty successful, huh? I mean, that in and of itself. And thank you for reminding me that. I need to make it more of a point. Does anybody have any anniversaries of anything? Want to, touch out and say any birthdays, any anniversaries, like first rollout of such and such was this time, whatever. So I should always, before I come into the show, have these sheets ready, or at least have looked at said sheets so I could, get right out and get into it and say like, oh yeah, this plane was, rolled out, retired, this base opened up, closed, whatever. But I don't ever think about that because I'm an idiot. One of these days this show will have a format that we stick to, but it ain't today. You thought 2021 we'd change, but no, we're still the same idiots we were before. Or just, the calendar changed a month. So, yeah. I do need some sticky stuff, dark glowy sticky stuff though, so we'll be working on that soon. Yeah. Hey man, you two need to get together with the V's, yo. Seriously, Vanguard and Vulcans? And then we got Viper and Vortex over there? Can y'all come up with a solid string of like 6 to 8 planes that just use the V words? I'm serious, because you guys are really, really good about that sort of thing. Hey, wait, you've still been updating the aircraft sheet online, right? Yeah, I'm kind of scared to go into that and update my sheet that's here physically. Because updating 2 different sheets is always a... you know what I mean? But, I'll get it. I'll get it. I don't think... Like, the one, actually, you probably haven't updated too much past the one that's on my drive. But I'll take a look at it. So anyway, I got to go through all the Januaries here and see if anybody January. Arrow Hunter... Oh, you already retired it. Plane was only a year old, man. You don't give planes a chance. I see Sky Omniwing. It retired 4 months later. Jesus, man. So that's what I mean. It's like, you got some retirements and some birthdays, but for the most part, these planes are like, How far back do I got to go to find Vanguard? I'm not talking about Borg's Vanguard. I'm talking about your Vanguard. Because OAE Vanguard is... I got to figure out... What do I call you, Bob? So I got to come up with a name for you guys. Just say... Because, dude, saying Oi. Oi? I just Oi. But, I'm trying to look through here and see all these Januaries. And let's see. Simple Omni Scimitar. No, that was retired. Well, that lasted for a year. Looking back through time here. Oh, yeah, the first flight of Burst in Arstea came about this time 8 years ago. Nebula this time 8 years ago. Super Lightning this time 8 years ago. So see? But yeah, yeah, you're right. I'm in there. That's why I see Super Lightning. So 2012 for a bunch of this stuff. Well, I guess that's it's 21, so now it's 9 years ago. But yeah. There's Vanguard. There she is. December 7th, 2012. December 7th, 2012. Yeah, well, yeah, so. Actually, you passed it. So, yeah, it's coming up in the way of 11 months from now, that'll be. We can only look to the future. But see, maybe that's a calling. Seriously, maybe that's a calling. Maybe you feel a little stagnant because you've been on the Vulcans. I mean, you've had the ideas on Vulcans, and maybe just right now, not saying for all time, but maybe just right now you're like, got that feeling. It's like maybe I've done all I can do with it. But maybe that's time. It's like maybe I can try something with Vanguard. I mean, besides, if you keep your own little tech sheet Or if you borrow ours, which I would like, I mean, again, that's what it's there for. If you reference the tech sheet, anything you want to talk about, like if you want to say, like, if there's a question about what you see on the tech sheet, but you want to try it, let us know. We'll get with you and, like, I mean, so you know what we're talking about. Obviously, with Robert, you know, like the tapering, taper your plane, we get it. But, like, I mean, some of these aren't as obvious. Like, when you just see Pisces, you may not know what it is, or definitely like wolves, but, I mean, I'd like to think that the description, the acronym description gives you some idea of what you're dealing with. So, like, if you wolves, wing length, vertical strakes, if you break it down, wing length, vertical strake, you can kind of guess what they probably are. So, again, but if there's any others you get questions about, of course. But again, that's what I mean. There's like that's why I want like the tech sheets, because you can rifle through it and see if there's rifles. Another one. If there's anything you can think of that like you want to borrow or use, but you don't know exactly what we're getting at. Again, I like to try to keep them basic enough to be self-explanatory in there, and yet use a cool acronym. So, whatever. It is what it is. I'm still trying to look back here. I got a little sidetracked. Still got looking back here. See if there's anybody with any. Januaries are usually good and yet lean months, I've found, because you don't like because you're usually not able to fly. You typically don't. Oh my God, Kestrel. The Kestrel, yesterday, turned 6 years old as a design. Not bad. All right. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, I've got it. It's active. It's my lean small trainer. Yes. Trainers are one of the things. See if I'm not going to get into it. Whatever, we'll talk about it. So, I know. Does that catch you out too? Like, do you guys like when you start building something and then you like if you build it, you're hyped for the idea that you build it and you fly it, or you build it and you test it and you're like, well, that sucked. Does that kind of put you off? You kind of think about it and you're like, that sucked. I shouldn't have tried that. Then you don't mess with it anymore. I get like that sometimes. I always use Nova as a great example of that because, as I said, Nova would probably be my phase had it not been for the lean times in like 92, 3, and 4 when it just like sucked. I'm sitting here building like 300, 400, 500 phases and like Nova's dwindling on 30. Yeah, it was bad. But then again, I was hyped about the phase too, so, you know, whatever. What can you say? You got one, you're hyped about it, and the other one sucks. What are you going to do? Chances are you're going to lean into it. You know, like, okay, I'm building that one from now on. Why do you think there's 3,000 F-16s in the world and only like, 48 10s? Always hated the F-16. Anyway, so I'm just looking back, see if there's anything else in here. Kestrel's a pretty big one, especially since we just barely hit it. So I say that's pretty good having that one in there. Did I say 6? Oh my God, I messed up. That'd be 16 years old. Excuse me, Kestrel is 16 years. I knew that sounded weird. January 5th of 2005 is not 6 years ago. I don't math, dude. My degree is not in math. Yeah, but anyway, January, it usually is a pretty lean time because if you're not thinking about flying, you're not thinking about building too much, even though you really get into building those times because you can't fly, can't go outside and fly, so you might as well build a shit ton. Not usually how it works. Now, you boys in California, Georgia, and Florida, yeah, you can build and fly, assuming it doesn't rain or fire or brimstone or frogs or whatever the hell it is beleaguering you now. You can do that, but hey, look, you can't settle. I mean, it's totally understandable. You want to build higher and higher performance, but don't get into that U.S. military thing where you just like seriously the financial feasibility of building just takes you right out of the hobby. This goes back to what we talk about, like you being a member of the Corps now is like you don't want to build anything too advanced because if it's advanced and it falls in enemy hands, they're going to have it, right? You have to build some simple planes. You just have to. I mean, that's why I like to keep some of mine in there the way they are. And you okay, you have to have, I like to think some people, I'd like to think some people had built their planes differently for that reason. Like maybe you don't want your long-range striker to be the longest range plane you have, because you don't want nobody to tap that ability. And like it really gets into, it's more than just having your plane caught, examined, or destroyed. It's more like, would you want to lose it at all, or would you want it to do just that because it can? I know that sounds very vague, but what I mean is like, okay, if you have a long-range striker, is it long-range because it can go from point A to point B long-range? Or hear this out, is it because it can pass over point B and get back to get to point C? Now, see, I gave that some heavy thought, which is one of the reasons why, for the longest time, I was trying to make all of my planes long-ranged. And it's one of the reasons why I try to stretch the ranges of every plane I've got. Yeah, I tell you guys that, like, close range is within 5 feet. And a lot of times when you're in our paper combat, if you're in air-to-air combat or air-to-ground combat with somebody, yeah, you could get to the point where you're bombing somebody with your planes from within, like, walking distance, striding distance. I mean, like a little drop down in the plane, it gets it. Okay, but if you're a distance away, like you're in your front porch and they're in the street coming at you in your front yard, you need to be able to launch something out there that goes out to them, say it's 20 yards away, and it can come back, So, but that's like, okay, that's not necessarily long range, but it is, because it's spending a whole bunch of time in the air just going out to there and then coming back. And I always wondered, like, giving that the thought, it's like, okay, do you consider it medium range because it can go out there and then come back because it's only going that far away? Or long range because it goes there and there. So point A to point B, this being point B, it spends that much time in the air as opposed to just that. Because seriously, like, in our role description, a defensive plane would seriously go out to from front porch to street. That's the defensive range. Interceptors go further than that, but your interceptor should go as straight, as far, and fast as possible. I cannot illustrate that enough. But, like, the others, attack, strike. Strike should be able to go out there, but should strike be able to go out to their yard and then keep going so it gets safely back? Or just go there and stop? You know what I mean? These are things you think of. And again, yeah, that's why you should think of simpler planes. You're right, it's hard to think of ones that, like, you don't really want to step down, but sometimes stepping down, stepping back and going raw is the easiest way to look at it and get better. So, and you've got that. You've got being able to put MUPs on, like, everything, or at least testing them out on the family and seeing which ones it'll work with. So, there's always that. I'd like to think that I keep trying to expand their ranges for just that reason, right, yeah, I know, and all your planes really are. The thing is, yours are long range, and again, I can see from the flights that you have, because you keep them in your yard most of the time, but your yard's pretty much bigger, so you can cover your yard, and okay, you cover your yard great. Which means, of course, if you went on the offensive, any plane that you use as a striker or as an offensive weapon obviously goes into enemy territory and probably even gets out. So yours are like perfect for that. You got your full airspace coverage as a defender, as an interceptor, what have you. But which instantly any of those planes switch to an offensive role because most of that's considered defensive. They switch to offensive role when you're pushing the fight and you're in the street and not on the porch. So, obviously that's has combat prepped as we are. I'd like to think that's where we get is, we may start off in a defensive posture, but we're going to push the fight, take it to your doorstep. So, long range, all the stuff that we do for the tech, adding MUPs, adding rocket ability, adding waterproofing. This is to to push the attack. So, I like to think of us as, I'm a hawk, so, but it has everything. I don't really want to start the combat, but I'm damn sure going to finish it. So if you're going to start something, we're going to take it. And that's the whole thing. I might start out defensively. You might come up to my street, start stepping in my yard and launching your planes at me. But I'm going to bring my javelins out at your ass. And then I'm going to start them pushing back at you, and then I'm going to start launching phases into your ass. So that's That's how I look at it, and that's what we're all trying to do. You know, you're only using your interceptors. I mean, your interceptors are at your side, dude. If I can figure out a way to have a quill, no pun intended on my plane's called the quill, but if I can figure out a plane like a holster where I'm storing javelins and I'm throwing them at you while I bring phases along to strike at you, that's ideal. But I kind of want to do that. It's just that I can't. I'm scared of the foldability. You know, I mean, I could fold certain planes, and okay, for the blended body and the lifting bodies that we got, like the F-20, the Pink Widow and stuff. Yeah, okay, I see that. They definitely get something. I'm worried about if. Crap. Yeah, I know that. Sorry, that was weird. I'm worried about like if I use that kind of gram weight on javelins aren't going to fold. So, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about getting that. I can use some of the paper that I've got because I do have some that do that. In any case, yeah. See that? Yeah, I gotta give it some thought. Oh, you don't use MUPs to give it the strike? I mean, I thought it was. Oh, they're multi-purpose, so it's more than just strike, right? Because you're thinking. I think if you're going with like sizes of paper, it's like okay, the foldability, yeah, it might be an issue. If you turn it into a lifting body, a regular looking airplane, better idea. But you're right. I mean, there's going to have to be a certain trade-off. You're going to have to go Y13 on it and figure out how big you're going to have to make it to be to get some, be able to throw it so it gets some, thrust, while still maintaining some lift without providing the gravity and drag. So yeah, I don't know. I always thought the Oriental versions were kind of bad, but they're not bad, really. I mean, they're not so. I can't use them. I liken those to Cessna 172s, and by that I mean if you look at some of the Japanese videos of their flying origami, and it's really not origami. I shouldn't say that. They built like the white wings, like they build the ones that have like wings and a fuselage and a empennage and stuff like that. That's not even paper. They use balsa wood and like cardstock. So it's paper, but I mean, like, really, dude? Wow. I can bring myself to do that. I don't like their shapes. Cargo and strike. Right. So yeah. Multi-purpose. That's what I mean. So it's like, yeah, it gives you everything, which is one of the reasons why you could say any plane that has it is also like a multi-role plane. Whereas, of course, I try to stay away from the multi-role. If you're going to have more than 7, you don't need multi-role because your 7 are covering individual roles on their own. So that's why. And since, again, here we are in the core, I like to keep it that way. It's like, well, if you've got your 7, just keep adding more into your stables until you get to that. If you check our roll sheets, you get to that level of having, 13, and okay, you got all the roles you would. If you had one plane, multi-role covers all that. Yeah. But I like having the different planes. See, so you guys dabble in the card stock. Wait, do you guys buy that? I mean, have you found the card stock, or do you go out and buy the card stock? I'm assuming you buy it, but I mean, like, I assume you can find some of it too. I think I found the stuff that I've got. I'm trying to think of how. You want to get like the bigger sheets that I have are like basically cardstock. So. Yeah, I know, and that's another thing. You could do that too, I guess, right? Like you can make it. Because even taking this sheet, if I were to fold this thing over 3 or 4 times, especially if I were to fold it and glue it, so if I were to fuse it in some way, instantly this is big, bigger than this. It's not this paper anymore. It's something thicker. Not that I would fold it 4 times and do that. It would have to be something bigger, and then it would be one part of a bigger plane. Or a MUP. You ever made MUPs out of heavier material? Oh, you comprise yours out of the pulp. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's a good way to go about it. I'm thinking like if these planes had, okay, like I was going to mention talking about the bombers. Um, the bombers were good. That's a good segue into that because again, like okay, I don't see the bombers doing much of anything different as like the planes that can do the strike. It's basically a heavier strike, right? So if you have a MUP on it, be considered a bomber too. If you want to make it bigger, of course. Wow, that makes me wonder how big or little your MUPs can get. Oy. I mean, because you have a pretty standardized set on the pictures you show of them. It's a pretty standardized size of the MUPs. So I mean, if you scale up a plane like the Zeta, and then put MUPs on that because it's already 4 feet, 8 feet wide. I mean, the MUP itself could be like what 5-6 inches long, right? In theory, I don't know if you've done that, but I was thinking about like, okay, so Power over there, like his planes. Every one of his plane can be a bomber because a lot of the ones he has, if he keeps that body in, like I was building the Pink Widow, if you keep a hollowed out body and store stuff in there, they could just be dumped out. There's your bomb capacity too. But going back to what we were saying, bombers can be, I mean, they're almost all kind of in a way like self-sacrificing. I've always seen them like it's harder to get a flight out of them without, like, if you're carrying something. I mean, if you had a MUP, it would be different. Or if you had the blended body, it would be different. But if you're standardizing your plane and they're carrying something, especially if it's over the wing, you can't have them, like, loop. You can't have them bank too heavily. So I always saw them, like the transports, they pretty much just fly a straight line. That same line that we were talking about when it was, like, again, standing on a porch, you go to the street, or you push it out to the street, so you stand in the street and you go to their porch, So again, like that's the bombers and heavy strike, as it were. It's like basically taking your smaller strike plane and stepping right on up to the heavy bomber, which is your heaviest strike plane. Regardless of what that means to you as a strike plane versus a bomber. I mean, does size make a bomber? Does range make a bomber? I don't know. I consider a little bit of both, but I like to step in just another reason to make a bigger plane. So I consider size. Because I mean, shit, almost all the planes get the range. So, and it's pretty easy to make your plane fly straight. Just like it's pretty easy to make a plane that flies loop to loop or come back to you. I mean, for real, dude. I'm looking at somebody out there. It's not that impressive. But I'm glad he's out there being a face for everybody, though. Seriously. Just, know where you came from, dude. Anyway. Like dive bombers, a little bit different, of course. They actually do have a little bit of a dip to them. But this is a plane you're talking about, like, if you put pods on it, if you made it a blended body, it would be like something that would dump out the front end because you're diving in on it. Although it can still come out the back because we're looking at something from your standpoint. You throw it at the ground and it pulls up. You guys have had those. It's a loop-to-loop. It's a stunt plane. But if you throw them, it could shoot it out the back, right? So because of their use in the war that I had, I always... You knew where I was going with that, didn't you? Yeah. I just like using those. So I don't consider them, if you look at the roll sheet, I don't consider them necessary. I just highly suggest you do it so you can have more birds. But not necessary, I just like expanding everybody's minds. This is the whole reason I have as many rolls. Are they necessary? Hell no. I mean, but seriously, is anything we do necessary? No, we're just having fun. So that's the whole point. And I'm trying to keep everybody's juices flowing. Let's get creative here. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like everybody to get the damn roundels and get the damn Cody going on. But whatever. Anyway, so there's always going to be dudes like that, man. I can't get it. There are plenty of people out there that think if you touch it with anything, like origami, its truest form is origami. You're just folding. So there is no cutting, taping, stapling, anything, you know? And no. I don't I of myself is I like to tinker. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't care how you get the plane. I don't care what kind of plane it is. I just want to mess with it once it's built. Because once I see what it can do, I want to see how much more I can make it do. You know, can I make it carry more? Can I make it fly longer? Can I make it fly shorter? Can I put it over my roof and come off the other side? You know, stuff like that. So, I don't care what it takes. I don't care cutting, folding, twisting, burning, holding, stapling. I'll do it. I'm not a purist. There are purists out there, like, nothing but folds. Nothing but, you know, like, obviously, like, some of the ones that white wing style, like we like to talk about, like Dr. Ninamaya came up with. I mean, they cut out the balsa wood planform for the fuselage, put cardstock on it for wings, give it an empennage, and, like, dude, it's like, man, that's like the... I like to think of that as the most advanced form of the paper plane, because you're putting wood into it. I mean, paper is wood, wood is paper, blah, 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 but, like, you're using wood. I mean, damn, you know? And yet they still come out looking like what they do, the Cessna 172 of paper planes, but, hey, you know James Sakota, who also gave us, you know, the Sakota lock on the famous Sakota bird, which, if I had a clip, I'd show you. I'm sorry, I'm clipless. See, that's what I'm talking about when I read it early on about how we should be more, you know, our show would be more advanced. I'd have flip shot you a Sakota shot, but I think you can Google it, yeah, and you guys probably know what a Sakota is. So, yeah, that's the thing. And stuff like OAE, which you came up with, like MUPs, I mean, I think that's kind of like, and what everybody has. I mean, it's not, it's what everybody's input, you know. Me, you guys, Robert, you're tapering, you know, the MUPs, putting him on there, or even like, you know, getting it a flying wing with power, you know, that's the next generation. So, and then what Y13 is doing is like otherworldly. I mean, you kind of wonder why he just doesn't go ahead and like just see if you can shrink somebody down like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, put that boy in there and fly that bird. Dude, if I could so get somebody to do that, I would so put him in the cockpit of one of my planes. Here, fly this, please. Me and Y13, or all of us, well, let's get together, make these actuators work so that the little dude in the cockpit can fly it. Because that's what I'd like to see. Oh, come on now. Don't be all like that. You've seen OAE talk about MUPs. Like, is MUP 2, but the MUPs we call him because he's had the MUP 1. He's just been on the 2s now. The pods, man, they're the pods. They're multi-purpose pods. But he's got, like, see, you're really dissing because, again, I could have popped a clip up here. God, I need to be more ready for this. I've got the pictures, but I ain't prepped to clip them. See, now I'm looking at Mr. Florida Lockdown over there because if he was here, he'd just pop it in here. I could do it, but again, you'd show like multiple pictures because yeah. I wish OAE would do more flight videos. Damn it! I want to see what the California sky looks like some of the times with the planes flying. But yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right. Y13 should do some more flight videos. Sometimes you have to live vicariously through others when you have weather and shit. So, you know, I mean, I get it. I've got snow. And y'all got rain. So, you know, or fire. I mean, seriously, if you had, like, you had the big three, what do you want to do? Do you want to fly through fire, water, rain, or water, or wind? Well, I think I'm going to pick wind because fire is really going to kill him. Might kill me. Water's going to kill him. So, you know. Unless you get the waterproof paper. Or taper the hell out of it. But even then, man, tape burns and it stinks. So, whatever. I know, right? That's why we need to jump on these people. Hell, NASA hasn't been giving us any flight videos lately. But, he says it's been raining a lot. Which, again, I've seen the weather down there. It has been raining a lot, so... But, you know, like, we just, yeah, we do need, like, the shows are cool. We just need more flight videos. Because flight videos and how to builds are where it's at. You know, the show is a good, podium. Everybody could talk and let's get it on, and build. But build shows and flight videos is where what captures the imagination, and everybody wants to do what they do. So I'm just thinking, man. I'm just thinking because I'm like, how many times, and like all this lockdown and shit, you gotta go through all this crap to get, our planes, or to get, I don't know. There's supposed to be an end game to this, so you can get back on there. But like, dude, impatience is the name of the game. You know what I mean? So, how you couldn't have picked a worse time is also the part of it. Is like, oh man, we got everything right, we got everything down, and like, no, we're gonna have to go away for a while because I'll let you fill in the silence there. Y'all ever done this? I'm using a basic plane to do this. This kind of sucks, but so my idea on this thing was a little bit different than the other idea. Why am I folding it that way? Oh, I'll fold it that way. I think I like the other side out there anyway better. So my idea with this one was to, like, I mean, okay, this is your basic plane, or this is somebody's basic plane. This was my basic plane, okay? Because everybody's got their basic plane, and almost everybody seems to be different. But this one, like, so it took me a while to figure this crap out. I don't know why. And again, it's not something you really want to do common. But, like, so you take all your folds that you make, and no matter what plane it is you're building, if you're folding, sometimes, Robert, I like think about this in your case and wonder, like, do these shows even work for you? Because, like, you build a whole bunch of cutout planes, and you don't fold much. So, I mean, you have folded, but yours aren't typically folded ones, so. I do have fireproof tape. Yeah, don't put mine in a boot. But see, like, okay, so you folds like this, and then, like, I did this, like, see, normally that would have been a fold. Like, I had it there, and then it would have been in there, but see, like, normally they would have been folded in, but I cut that out. So now, let's wait. Now, I'm probably going to do something a little bit different with this one, because in the one I've got at work, this is cut. I'm trying to debate on whether or not I want to cut it here. I'm having an idea. Hold on. I know, me and my ideas. Having an idea, though. I'm having a moment. Don't mess with my moment. So if I cut like this, it turned out this way, this will be all gone. I don't really want to do that, so let's not do that. So anyway, he probably hasn't done that either, now that I think about it. What the frick is that? Goose fraba. See? Got into it. See, now it's all quiet. See that? Every damn time. That's why I don't like to build on the show for you guys, because, again, they get quiet because not only am I thinking of what to build, I'm thinking of where it's going to go. It's like chess. Think of the Knicks like 3 moves forward, so I don't know, like, okay, do I really want to do that? Because it's going to turn out bad for this thing that way. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm folding it all to the inside, so you're never going to get to see the gray. I knew this could be a problem. Ah! I didn't want to do that because I want the gray to the outside. It's not a lot of gray, but it's enough gray. I think it's all universally gray, so. So anyway, here we go. Here it is, right here. Remember those times back in the day when you were flying, like, when you got older and you started flying planes and you got, like, you realized you were pretty good at it? Like, I was building and, oh man, this plane's really good, and you flew it, and then, like, the neighborhood kids would come around because, like, seriously, that's when you were a little kid, somebody else's, big kid was throwing planes and like, that's really cool. Can I see that? Then you'd walk up to it and grab it. Man, don't you hate those little kids? Like, don't grab it by the way. Oh, yeah. I was just listening to the other show the other day. Well, dude, like, I think we're a little scared of the rockets. I mean, I'm being serious. Like, because we know what the potential is, and it's like, well, and we're talking, like, remember what we said last week, Robert? You and I, we were talking about that. We said, like, it's a little bit different because, I mean, understandable what, the rockets are capable of, but they, like, I guess the debate really is, like, do they really fly? Can you really construe as what they do fly as more as just, I mean, yeah, okay, I can barely construe that what Javelin does is fly. I mean, seriously, because when I throw it, it goes where I'm throwing and it stops. Really, it's just a throw. It's not a flight. But that's what your interceptor needs to be. So it's like the rockets, that's the thing is like, by rocket definition, they don't exactly fly. I mean, you call it that, but they're really only guided by, a gimbal, a gyro, and inertia. I mean, even like, seriously, basic rockets. I mean, the base rocket, unless it's a guided missile, they don't even have fins. I mean, they have gimbal-powered rocket motors, but paper rockets don't have that yet. I challenge you to work on that. But, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so we're kind of scared of them. It's like, do we really want that? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. So I'm a little bit wary of them. I mean, and yet I'm in awe of what they can do. So, I like your video. And it's intriguing to think of him possibly becoming an interceptor, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Can't believe you asked him what the MUPs were. You know what the MUPs are. God. Man, this thing's gonna have a wing platform. Looks like a, yeah. Thing's gonna have a, well, weight of any kind. I was thinking about stapling it here, but this has turned into a point where now there's a lot more weight in the nose than there was when I originally started. And I can't do that. You ever get to that point when you're actually building something on like that fold? If you put that fold into it and you're playing with it and you're like, well, I folded in. Wow, the nose seems heavy. So then you fold it back out and it's like, yeah, the balance is better. It's the same one as, yeah, the balance is better. What I'm trying to see is if this is going to, like, there can be one of two ways with this right here. You either finish it off with wings, because I want to keep this basic. I've done the cut. Or do you want to step it one more time? I kind of want to step it one more time. But see, if I step it this last time, now I find myself wishing that I would have... That ain't going to work. There's too little wing. Yeah, where is he to tell me that one? Okay, so I can't do that. Good thing I didn't fully fingernail that fold. Pretty bad crease as it is, but I think I can keep it out. Fingernails, kids! Oh, great devices for creasing and uncreasing. You know what else works there too? Using the corner of your desk. If you perpendicular roll your creases on the corner of your desk, usually takes them right out. Little hint tip. Well, it could be a helicopter, but that's it. It could be a helicopter? So you like launch it, it goes out, and then it... That's funny because that's how we always used to think the actual helicopters we have would do that. You ever seen our helicopters? No, you've never seen NASA's because he hasn't built one since 2000. But you've seen mine? I don't think I've ever actually put mine on there. I got a full stable of them. Back when he was going to be the commander of the vertical ops, and then he hasn't built a helicopter in 20 years, 21 years. Oh shit, it literally almost has been 21 years now. We haven't been on a helicopter since then. Can't figure out a way to make them work. No. I mean, yeah, there's that's a good idea. You know, like seriously. I mean, like the whole point of being able to make, because like then we were thinking if we ever used helicopters, there'd only be like three purposes for them. It's like cargo, bombing, and close attack. Because seriously, they drop and they, you know, I mean you can drop them from or higher high you can get, but seriously, they just drop. So if you're able to throw one or launch one and then it helicopters, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Okay, I'm going to have to pay more attention to that video next time I watch it. See if we can play around with it. Okay, I'm going to OAE the hell out of this thing then. I have taken to calling it OAEing when I like create a bigger than my normal fold on the winglets and wings and fuselage and shit. So like now it's... Okay, this isn't bigger than my norm. But I'm going to make the fuselage bigger than the winglets are. So, are those winglets? Yeah, maybe. We're not just done yet with this either, so I'm going to do this. I've built this plane before. I didn't do the cut out of it like I did early on, but I've built this plane before. And KA is probably going to kick my ass when he sees this too, because this looks a lot like a plane that he built, and he was like, hey! It really does. It's not exact. It definitely isn't the same way he did it. But I remember that I may still have the plane he built. It looks like this one. He's going to be like, hey! Don't look at this too closely, okay? I didn't do this. I was thinking of you, but not really. I wasn't thinking of anybody. I just wanted to get that cut. I ain't stealing shit. So anyway. So I remember a while back when I was asking you guys, like, do you take that fold out or you like leave it in there? Yeah, I made a conscious effort on those most of the time. So now, even though I cut this piece out at the very, very, very beginning, there's still a pretty good balance here. There's still a lot of weight up in the nose of this. So yeah. And look, it has tail. NASA's is always asking me how Dale comes into play and how you get that. And, like, it's actually pretty easy to get into most of the plane should you want it. I just stapled it like a fool. You call it what you like. You guys ever experiment with, like, folding to get the plane to do what you want it to do? I keep wanting... I'm like NASA's about that. Like, I can't get him to cut or hole. I can't... Seriously. He is so not a tweaker. I mean, when you really consider it, when I step back and look at it, and I really, like, okay, seriously, I might have just came to this realization now, but I always knew it in the back of my head. He is not a tweaker. Like, he'll do shit, but he won't do it all. Like, again, he's so nervous to put a staple in, tape something totally austere, fold, cut, or put a hole in, unless he absolutely has to. Like, it took him a long time to get the KIA little strake back here. And he loves it now, but, you know, what I'm saying is, like, I'm trying to wean him off of that because the only way for his future is to, like, taper it, or cut it, or hole it, or something. So, like, he'll never get a paper rocket if he doesn't get into that shit. But, no, that's what I'm saying is, like, what I was getting at was I'm the same way about folds when it comes to that. Like, I acknowledge that the phases worked really good when you had them. When I showed you guys, like, when you look at them this way, yeah, this looks sad because I just creased the shit out of it. But when you look at it this way, the phase wing, like, had this natural curve that made it actually go, like, from the forward part of the wing pocket, from fuselage to about midway, it curved up at a hump. And then after it stopped, it actually flattened and started curling back up towards the wingtip. They're natural, if I get enough pressure into them, their natural tendency is to do that. Now, with folds, you could achieve that almost every time. Or you could achieve it the other way. But I've never really pulled the trigger on it because the way I fold. Like, if I want to get one this... I want this one to actually have the wingtips fold up, right? So I could literally just do this, but then take that fold out. Or I could just give it my soft crease and it would curve. But do I really want to do that? This is what I deal with. That's my thing that I'm always like, sure. Like, there's going to be some of you out there that's like, I do that all the time. Yeah, like, well, I don't ever do that. So, it's always hard for me to get to do that, even though I always talk about, I want to try that. I can't try that. I get so close, and then I don't do it. I'm a dweeb when it comes to that. I need to just, pull the condom off and freaking go at it, because that really, I think that's holding me back. So is it paper rockets or is it paper helicopters? Okay, so yeah, now I got that accomplished. The other thing that I wanted to do with this one was Mark's going to love me for this. See this? See this? I'm doing this for you, man. I'm doing this for you. You might think that's your only way out. But seriously, you're not just doing it all for the nookie. So you got this here. And this was, okay, I'm throwing it for a loop, but I knew I wanted to do something like this. But I'm trying, if you're following along at home, as always remember, has Powerhouse Paper Planes always does. And has the Pink Widow illustrated. You can give any plane any shape you want to. And almost instantly making it your own. I could cut that out of the original one. But I wanted to do that because I wanted it to have a little bit of a stinger and a little bit of a sweep. And now, see, instead of it looking like a dopey thing, now it looks like a slightly less dopey thing. With a stinger. That's just to illustrate exactly what you could do with you mess around with what we call the slanted trailing edges. No, I didn't fold it in, but I sure as hell cut it in there. And gave it like a boom. Got a little bit of that trailing edge onto this, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Kept it onto here, and then I've got a slanted trailing edge there. And I wanted to keep it somewhat in there. I did this all on purpose. Why? I don't freaking know, but I thought it looked cool. I guarantee you this will fly. Whether it'll be good or not, I don't know. Because one of the things is I can't get this. The Dale's really screwing with the. Because the first part of the Dale up to here, where you can see the line in the pocket, there's a lot of stress there. So this from the front view, this is really curling, whereas this drops off. It's almost like giving it couple. Let's see if you can see it. Of course, I pulled it out. But you see the way, you can tell where it stops the reinforcement, it cuts down. I could probably, influence that more. And yes, I'm going to, because I want to see what it does with that. Because it's kind of giving it a slight parasol shape to the wing. Which, of course, could be good for bombing, because bombers have a tendency, I've noticed that when I build mine, I don't know about you guys, but when I build them, they have a tendency to have that kind of shape, like the wings carry over and stuff. So now, okay, it looks kind of stupid cranked up in the front, but I bet that captures a lot of nice wind and holds it. But I can play with the settings on the anhedrals and such. Yeah, it flies pretty good. It flies straight, but damn, all the way the length of my rooms here. So, yeah, pretty good. Good bombing length, but again, indoor test is a lot different than the outdoor tests. I'll code it later. Hey, okay, look, all right, guys, it was good talking to you. I'm gonna cut this because we're at 122, and I'm trying to make an effort to make this a smaller show. Did we get everything covered? Anything else you want to talk about? I'll get back into the things. Yeah, so, okay, I'm just looking. We're checking the topics. Topics are good, okay? Yes. Guys, it was wonderful being back here with you. Welcome to 2021. Let's make some good things happen this year. OAE, whatever we can do to help you get out the slump, man, we're here for you. I'll send you another couple messages. Hopefully maybe some couple ideas. Maybe if you followed along. I doubt you were spurred, but who knows, maybe you were. Dude, add some cuts to the back of your planes. Seriously, almost all of your trailing edges are pretty much straight block. Zigzag those bastards. Give it some slanted trailing edges, you know. Go with an RSTE, go with the STE, do something. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking like cuts. Give it those strakes or winglets or whatever we have never really termed it. I call them DFRWs, but when they're that small, they're a little different. But like the things that NASA showed you with Ekron, that I said KA developed. Exile T16 has those, and a couple of phases have had them in the past. Don't know the numbers, but dude, there's so many options. Play with them. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rob. That's just great. I like the appreciate the feedback. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to keep it at a more reasonable level. So you know, but yes, I do plan. I'm gonna watch your video either after this or in the next day or two, and I'll probably try to make an effort to build one over the weekend. Just to see what it's all about. Because I know, like I said, I enjoyed it. I showed it to my girl before, and she's like, "That's paper?" I was like, "Yeah, he did that." You see the beginning, like, wow. I think she's probably nervous that I'm gonna try something like that and just figure out a way to blow it up, but that's the fun of what we have. But anyway, yeah. I said, good show, people. Thank you guys as always for showing up. Any newbies out there, we appreciate you. This was Sil with IVPAC. Y'all get on out there if you can. Get me some flight videos. Build something for us. It's 2021. Let's make it a good one. But until that time, people,